Afternoon, cyber traders. Welcome on back here this Tuesday, April 18th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Welcome on back, as always, here this time of the day for our afternoon meeting. Great to see Dan, Ravina, Sam, Jim still sticking with us here this afternoon. Great to have all of us there joining us inside our live trading room. Great to have all of us back on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the works. So with that said, Mara, nice little bounce finally. I mean, this trade had a nice pop to begin the morning. It was up big in pre-market, actually. But from there, ended up completely reversing really quick. Ended up pulling back, ended up taking a small loss off of 1240, and then from there, it completely collapsed. So we avoided most of this downtrend throughout the morning into the afternoon. But, it's pretty funny. We just came off of our Traders Talk workshop earlier this morning. The recording of that will be posted on the student dashboard later on this afternoon or evening. But with saying that, at least if you were joining us inside our live trading room, then well, you heard me kind of talk about this, how, for all the times that we may miss a move and, oh, I just missed it. Oh, come on. And we beat ourselves up all these times. Folks, I came back from doing God knows what, right? Like we were just saying in Traders Talk from the other day, I was getting off a phone call with Grant, walked right into the CFRX trade. That was yesterday, actually. So today, I just got back to my desk. I start looking around. And hey, for the stocks that I took the time to plot and line up initially, those are the ones that I'm gonna, focus on at first. So I look at Mara, and on my other chart here, perhaps I'll even try and show that briefly. But on my other chart, I ended up having a couple of different lines, a few different levels off the 1150, and namely 1145. I think that was yesterday's closing bell price. So it was just a trio of different support lines that were here, and it's just good timing, right? Not good luck, but good timing. So from there, ended up finding this perfectly right around this 1145, 1150-ish. I'd leaned into the trade since it was under 1150. It already broke under and over this. So I figured, all right, you know what? We've actually seen this song and dance before because although Mara is still up percentage-wise today, it took a huge drop-off from the morning session, right? And historically, for these crypto mining affiliated stocks or crypto stocks, whatever you want to call them, they rarely have continuation into the close. And if they do, it's not like the type of trade you want to follow up with. It kind of crawls into the close at that. So I played it off the level. I set a tight stop right under that bottom yellow line. That was yesterday's closing bell print. And with that, it was like a really nice initial bounce. So let me even show bookmap here once more. This is the closing bell print price from yesterday, 317,000 share print that got filled off 1145. Preparation pays, folks. Preparation pays. Nice little move now on Mara, actually. So, you know what? Hey, it's more of a sideless stock than anything, and it was going into that trade, but it's one that we are pretty familiar with. So, you know what? At least for right now, I'll put this on our main list in hopes of seeing continuation into the afternoon, higher lows at that. But we'll see what else is out there. If we build up a really big watch list and this is kind of struggling along here, kind of stagnant as we come back to this at the end, maybe I'll kind of kick it off. But for right now, it makes the cut. Nice bounce exactly where we were looking for it off the 1145, 1150. Now, let's go from top to bottom. Otherwise, I will just tell you, if you kind of look across the price column here on the gainers list, you got a bunch of these stocks below $1. You have to really go through it with like a fine-tooth comb. And if anything, this blue stock, $14 stock, we know from the morning, it's a buyout. I'm not trading this. So honestly, top four stocks on the gainer side, cheapies and buyout. So honestly, we pass on it for right now. We keep going along now here, and it'll take us to the drama trade. DRMA, Dermata Therapeutics, ended up having a great pop in pre-market and after the open. I have these lines here because earlier in our workshop, we had covered this trade from head to toe, from A to Z. So no need to go into it any further. If you were there, you were there. If you're a member or student, well, you can always catch the recording. We'll have that up later on just this afternoon to catch that. All right. That's where I say to all of us in social media joining us here for this meeting, you got to be a member inside our trading room, right? So right now at this point, obviously not going to focus on it as a long at this stage, dropping off, filling the gap on the way down. Man, all of these are like real cheapy stocks below $1. I'm not really too keen on that. I went break even on this GMDA trade just earlier off of 171. It was crawling and crawling off my support call out here. It was looking good. until it didn't look good and it pulled back and stopped me out. I mean, hey, better break even than minus 13 or 15. So if you've made your money already on the day, this is kind of for academics, right? Kind of for educated, responsible fun at that. So if it were to push up higher towards 2, I'd be more likely to at least take half of that trade out. But you know what? I'll play it to break even at worst, and I'm not going to lose a dime from the cushion amount, my money that I've already profited so far. So now at this point, this trade's not looking as good. Maybe if it could break back over 171 pretty convincingly, I'll think otherwise. But let's see what else we got. We got RELI as my scanner's kind of wigged out there. RELI, pop and drop. So it looks like this move is pretty much done with for the most part, right? Pushed up earlier, failed to break higher, failed to hold a higher low, and I'll come back to it if it ends up making a sudden pop, like I said before. HTGM, big spread for a $3 stock. You're going to find a lot of that here across the gainer side right now, folks. Toro, Toro, trying to go back up right now. Order book looking somewhat more, filled in compared to the others. I'm not fully convinced on this either. It's only trading about 3,000 to 4,000 shares per minute in volume, so we'll pass there. Now, NOGN, Noggin, nice trade up here, pushing up from 250 up to 285, and sticking to the highs here right now. So, we'll give it a look. 31,000 share iceberg on the ask up top at 3. So, definitely tradable. Definitely a stock I want to follow for right now. And yeah, NOGN joins Mara so far. You would imagine at this rate, we're going to keep Mara on our watch list regardless, kind of just going through the top portion of the gainers list already. We only got 2. So, hey, we'll stick with Mara and we'll stick with this Noggin trade. Nice push up here up towards 3. Looks like the high back from Friday last week, 308. So you might want to be careful around that 3 level at first. Former runner, PTPI, well, former runner and current tanker right now. Stock got crushed earlier this morning once again. And I don't know. Right now, there's definitely better plays than this. Clean Spark. This could be a great trade taking us into the close. CLSK. We've been pretty fond of this stock for the last year or so, but or probably a year and a half or so. And now, recently, the last few days from the end of last week to today, making a strong bounce back up. So looks like it wants to retest and re-break over 5. We'll definitely put this on our list, giving it a look. Too much resistance up top, maybe 508, but otherwise 5 is your larger level. It's a retest. So it looks pretty interesting here right now. All right, we'll keep it going. Just across the rest of the gainer side, though, I mean, not much else that looks like a familiar name or a stock that we looked at from earlier here today. Oof, MBRX, nasty pop and drop. I didn't even notice that until right now. All right. So if there is anything else up a little bit more, folks, percentage-wise, type it in the chat board. If you're on social media, certainly do the same as well. We'll come back all around here before we wrap up. Let's hop over to the loser side here. Just really quick update on Mara, MARA. It's on our watch list. It's up towards my next line off 1175. Big selling level back from yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Even maybe back from Friday last week could have been. We would just need to see Mara flip 1175 back into support. So I may even look to take half my trade out coming up just to lock up some profit. Why not? All right, so we keep it going here across the loser side first. UIHC, it's actually down a lot percentage-wise, 53+%. Trying to squeeze back up perhaps into the close. That gives me the sense that maybe we could see further short covering. It's certainly possible. I mean, it's down enough percentage-wise for us to think about it. So, you know what? I'll put this on our list. It would be hard for me to ignore it right now, just seeing the opportunity. Now, if it fails to break higher here coming up, fails to flip the VWAP perhaps into support at best, then I would look to follow a different trade or at least jump off this, expect a pullback perhaps otherwise. Once the volume peaks and then dies off on a short squeeze, once the shorts stop covering, it's tough to expect to see a stock continue to run up and up and up after. So, you're kind of swimming upstream afterwards in that sense. KPTI looks like this had a big pop then drop, and I don't know much more to it than that. I mean, just kind of recovered and flattened out here, this trade. All right. So I'll tell you, I mean, the loser side is a little bit easier, quicker for me to look at, go over. So if there's anything else, folks, damn, we only got 4 stocks to work with so far into this afternoon. So definitely not your typical longer watch list from me here. I always like to say, at least when Fausto is doing the meetings in the morning, just 30 plus year pro of the markets at that, he is exceptional at keeping it super simple, right? Whereas myself, you'll tend to see me make like a watch list 10 or 12 stocks at times, and I like to see the opportunity in a few different trades. But that's where you here in the chat board, any of our students like Mark or Ravina, John, Steve, that's where you got to pick and choose one or two out of those that we put on the watch list, and then see if there's any move from that point. All right, so folks, going to just check Benzinga Pro here lastly before we wrap up. I don't have anything here across the board, and that's fine. I think that we did our job here. I think that we've done pretty good going across the gainers and losers lists here. Noggin still pushing up, NOGN still pushing. PTPI, I'm not convinced yet on this one. I know it's trying to squeeze back up slightly, but we got a thin book for a $4 stock. I'm going to pass on that one. And then the Toro trade, I said I'd kind of come back to this one at the end, if anything. If the spread continues to open up a bit, I'm not going to be a fan of that. Again, for a $4 stock to have a 3-cent spread like that, it's not really that liquid. So you're hoping to see a higher high on this into the afternoon more than anything. I'll put this on our list in hopes of that, but otherwise, I like the Mara trade a little bit more initially. The NOGN trade the most, of course, alongside CLSK. So there's definitely a few runners here potentially that we could work with. All right, folks. Hey, for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the works. I appreciate you folks sticking with me each and every day, each and every afternoon. Got a dry mouth after some extra coffee this morning. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a quick email. Any questions or trades that you'd like to go over, I always like to post my email here at the end of these streams, josh@ctutrading.com. There we go. All right. So with that, for Sam, Leda, Ravina, John, Mark, Dan, and all of us just inside the chat board, Rich will be on the mic taking you folks into the close from 3 to 4. As usual, I will be in the chat from 3 to 3:30, and then from there probably dip out. All right. I'll talk to you all soon, folks. Take care.